Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question comes to us straight out of the Judge Vault. Amy controls a blood moon, and she plays a Hallowed Fountain. Does Hallowed Fountain enter the battlefield tapped or untapped? Okay, before we get to the answer, I want everybody to stop and think about what you think the answer should be. Try to forget everything you know about the rules. Just ask your heart whether Hallowed Fountain should enter tapped or untapped. Now, obviously, there's a lot of cases where the rules don't match up with people's intuitive expectations, but this exercise is valuable because, especially for simple, relatively common situations like this one, the rules team tries its best to align the rules with what the majority of people expect. The correct answer is that the Blood Moon will make the Hallowed Fountain enter the battlefield untapped. Amy will not have to pay 2 life. In fact, she will not even have the opportunity to do so, which matches most people's expectations of what the ruling should be. There actually was a time in Magic's history where the ruling was the opposite, and I remember people telling me that it was stupid when I presented them with the admittedly technical explanation for why it worked that way. To see the issue, let's recall that Hallowed Fountain entering the battlefield tapped unless you pay 2 life is a replacement effect. Now, one important fact about replacement effects is that they apply immediately before the event that they replace. In the case we're considering, that event is Hallowed Fountain entering the battlefield. So the replacement effect applies immediately before Hallowed Fountain is on the battlefield. Now, that's an issue because Blood Moon only applies to non-basic lands. In other words, non-basic land permanents that are on the battlefield. This would mean that Blood Moon does not apply to Hallowed Fountain before it's on the battlefield, which is when its replacement effect happens. And if your rules knowledge was enough to already know all that stuff, then maybe you would have guessed the old ruling should be the correct one. But for everybody else's sake, replacement effects that apply as an object is entering the battlefield were given special handling to consider what the permanent will look like while it's on the battlefield, taking into account any continuous effects, such as blood moons, that already exist and would apply to that permanent. This means that while Hallowed Fountain is entering the battlefield, and the game is trying to decide whether any replacement effects should apply to this event, the game can see that on the battlefield, Hallowed Fountain will be a mountain with no abilities that make it want to enter the battlefield tapped. So, therefore, it enters untapped. So yeah, the explanation for how it works is still pretty technical, but at least now it aligns better with most people's intuition, which makes it a lot easier of a pill to swallow. Now, the crazy thing here is that enters the battlefield replacement effect already had special handling because of various other cases that existed before this. The rules team just added this one in there when they realized that excluding it just made some cases a whole lot less intuitive, while other cases mostly didn't have an obvious correct answer either way. Now, another important application of this rule is that effects making something enter the battlefield with counters on them, or that have you name something as the permanent enters the battlefield, are also enters the battlefield replacement effects, which means that you do not get an opportunity to name a creature type with Cavern of Souls if you play it while there's a Blood Moon out, effectively blanking that land even if you somehow manage to remove the Blood Moon later on. Dark Depths fares a lot better though. Blood Moon would mean that it doesn't get 10 ice counters, and if the Blood Moon goes away afterwards, then there won't be anything stopping its ability from triggering to make it into a 20/20. Now that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.